So let's make a start. Hello to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are. Everyone's very welcome to this MPW live session. This is the Reach for the Stars, how to get a star at A level. We're very pleased to have Team Cambridge with us today, MPW Cambridge. I'll introduce them to you in a second. My name is Steve Phillips. I'm Director International at MPW, and I've been hosting these MPW live sessions for the last few weeks. So it's great to have this session today. A little bit of housekeeping. Just please keep yourself on mute during the presentation, and do use the chat function for any questions that you have. Hopefully we'll have some time at the end, or feel free to save your questions up, and then you can unmute yourself at the end as well to ask questions. But during the presentation, please do keep yourself on mute and also use the chat function. So that's it really for the housekeeping. So I'm going to, without further ado, hand you over to Elpida Christianaki, the Assistant Principal at MPW Cambridge, who's going to be taking us through the presentation today, which is Reach for the Stars, how to get a star at A level. So Elpida, over to you. Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Steve. So I'll try to share my screen now. So let's make sure that everyone can see. So can everyone see this? Am I sharing?
Yeah, we can see
Excellent.
it. Yeah. All good.
Excellent. So welcome everyone. This is a webinar on how to achieve A-star grades at A level. So please remember, as Steve said, to mute your microphone during the presentation, and there will be opportunity to ask questions at the end of the presentation. So are we ready? Here we go. So who am I? My name is Elpida Christianaki, and I am Assistant Principal in charge of teaching and learning at MPW Cambridge. When considering how a student can achieve A-star grade, a good place to start is for students to be actually inspired by their school, their environment, their setting. You may be thinking, okay, Elpida, that's easy for you to say, but how can a school go around to achieving this? And even more so, how do we know that this is actually the case at MPW? For anyone thinking this question right now, it is definitely best to hear about our provision from someone independent from the college. Is such a thing possible? Yes. We have recently been inspected by Ofsted, which is an independent organization reporting directly to the Parliament. Would you like to see what they had to say about the college and our provision for our students? So here are their observations. Let's try to see this together. Pupils and sixth form students say that Mother Portman Woodward, MPW, is amazing and a great place to study. They know what they want to get out of their studies and are exceptionally well motivated to learn. Staff have high expectations. Most pupils and students respond to these expectations by working hard, so they achieve very well. They are confident that the support they get from their teachers will help them to be the best that they can be. So you may have noticed that I have circled in red the following words: amazing, great place to study, motivated to learn, staff have high expectations, and of course, in the last line, referring to students, there is the description that they want to be the best they can be. You can think of it like being in a top football team. or a dance company. If you support yourself with driven and motivated people, you will want to be like them. Let's find out, how do we actually do that? How do we go about to inspire our students so that they want to be the best they can be and achieve the very top grade? Okay, so for a student to do very well in their studies, they need to have very solid subject knowledge. Topics. For example, a student needs to know all topics inside out. For history, they need to know the key dates, the key actors, and be aware of the variety of perspectives on a certain topic. It is not enough to just know some key information like when a war started. The knowledge should be much more detailed, and they should have a clear understanding of different viewpoints. In mathematics, to take another subject, for example, they should be able to focus on mechanics, statistics, but not just stop there, but take it even higher, taking very difficult university undergraduate level questions like the STEP, Cambridge and Oxford University entrance papers. Resources. They should not just use the textbook, but always take it further by engaging in all of the extra reading and activities recommended by the teacher. So the truly outstanding student will, from time to time, present their teacher with ideas and problems that they have come across in their own time from their own additional reading, simply because they are passionate about the subject. So guys, to put it simply, students' knowledge should be very informed, should be very detailed, it should be analytical, critical, organized, well-structured, broad in scope, so to cover many topics related to their subject and in depth, which means they need to know a lot about its topic and be able to approach an exam question in many different ways, showing their thought process. Okay, so let's have a look at an A-level history mark scheme, which discusses key characteristics for students on how to achieve top marks, which is level 5. So here it is, mark scheme from history exam board. So you can see that it is not enough, apparently, to just answer the question. The information should demonstrate, let's see, a good understanding. Therefore, the student, an A-star student, needs to go beyond the basics. It should also be very well organized. Information should be effectively communicated. Of course, this changes from one subject to the next. For example, in mathematics, it may be showing your workings every step of the way. In essay-based subjects, like for example in economics and history, it may be going beyond key features, be more analytical and build an argument which leads to having a substantial judgment. To achieve this, A-star students need to be able to draw from a lot of different information. One needs to have a range of data to be able to present an opinion or indeed a perspective. Exam technique. It is not enough for students to have strong knowledge about topics if they don't know how to present this knowledge correctly. So how will students demonstrate their knowledge? Yeah, so students sit a final exam, external exam, at the end of the year. The questions are set by independent exam boards. Imagine, for example, that I am an economics professor from University of Cambridge, and I am trying now to answer an A-level paper. I may be able to understand all the questions, but if I don't know how I am supposed to answer its question, I may not get enough points to achieve not even a C grade. So I need to know very well my assessment objectives. As a student and as an A-star student, I need to know the specific criteria that each of my exam boards will use to assess me. For an A-star student, they should understand this criteria so well that they should be able to distance or detach themselves from their own work after they answer a question and look at their own answers from the perspective of an examiner, knowing exactly how they will be marked and how many points each exam criteria is worth. Okay, so if we look at weight, for example, if I am studying social sciences as a student, I will need to be able to present and analyze and evaluate information, and both the knowledge and the critical evaluation carry similar weight. So they have same or similar percentage towards my final overall grade. Mark schemes. A-star students should be used to doing extra work beyond the homework we set as a college and beyond the preparation they are doing to sit our timed assignments, which are assessments taken at the college throughout the academic year under exam conditions. Students should actively be looking to do more work, download more past papers in their own time, mark them using the online mark scheme, and bring any questions to their teachers. Examiners' reports. An A-star student should not just rest with answering more past paper questions and checking the mark scheme. They should download examiners' reports. Okay, so you may ask, Elpida, what are these examiners' reports? These are written by the actual person who has come up with that particular exam question and are put together after reviewing all the answers for that academic year of students. So the report explains what top answers looked like for each question for that year, what some students forgot to include in their answers, so really giving a specific roadmap towards forming an A-star or an outstanding answer. Answer challenging questions. It is not enough to just train yourself as an A-star student to answer straightforward questions. Students should be able to take this higher. How? MPW students will be trained and are trained to answer more difficult questions in class and are set challenging homework, but they should also actively want to revise everything and think, just a moment, what is the worst possible question that the examiner might ask me? Or do I know how to answer this? And even, should I revise again this topic? So A-star students should always need to be critical and reflective, preparing themselves to answer the very, very tough questions. So apart from answering challenging questions, they also need to know how to do that within a time frame. Again, it is not enough to just be able to answer very challenging questions when I have my textbook, my revision notes, all my answers in front of me. As an A-star student, can I produce an outstanding answer without looking at anything, just following the same time that I will be having in the exam setting? Okay, so we discussed about examiner's report. So this is actually an examiner's report from the economics A level. You can see that for this answer, it was helpful for students to include a definition, and the best answers included what students expected to find, quoted evidence, and the explanation had to be clear and wide range, as unclear and limited answers did not achieve top grades. A-star students need to start revising early. A-star students need to know to start revision early on in the academic year. Why is that? How many times do we need to revise something to remember it very well? This means all the details, excuse me, inside out. So can I please ask you to use the chat box to write what you think the answer is? So how many times do I need to try to revise anything in order to try to remember it afterwards 100%? Or thank you, or even if anyone wants to shout out an answer. So thank you very much for contributions. It is really 5 times. This is how many times it takes for our brain to retain all the information we are trying to learn. Okay, so what does this mean when you are a student? Every time you sit down to revise in an active way, for example, to make revision notes, prepare homework, it helps you to remember that you will only remember 20% of the information each time. So you have to go over information 5 different times to retain 100%. This means that an an A-star student should be driven and disciplined. They should start revising early. They should have a clear idea what they are working on during their free time every week, every day. Each MPW student has a personal tutor who checks their well-being, monitors their attendance, their attainment, and helps them look at their achievement in a reflective way. An A-star student should work on different strategies to revise and discuss with their personal tutor what works best for them and how they should improve their strategy. At MPW, each student has their own timetable, which is their own unique combination of subjects, their own targets, and we help our students achieve their own goals. Students' personal tutor will help them to set mini targets along the way to achieving their big targets. For example, students know they want to achieve an A-star and their mathematics teacher has identified that they need to work on mechanics, where they achieved a B grade previously. Their goal is then to achieve an A grade in the next assignment. An A-star student knows that success doesn't look like this, meaning the bottom left corner. It's not a straight up line. It is much more uppity and downy. Not very technical, but what does this really mean? An A-star student knows that they cannot expect automatically to achieve the same results from studying as when they play a video game. Students know that if they invest time in a video game, for example, they may be able to move automatically to the next level, but that doesn't necessarily transfer to answering all questions to an A-star level immediately. What matters is that they keep on trying and continue to invest time and effort. Success is not a stable way up. It may look like you're making some improvement, going up and then going down and then up again, but the common denominator is perseverance, resilience. MPW teachers and personal tutors are there every step of the way to support students go the extra mile. Students need to know that they don't need to be getting A-star from week 1 to be able to achieve A-star in the end. However, once they start achieving A-star, they should revisit all the work that was not A-star standard, now they know what an A-star grade actually looks like. An A-star student also has detailed notes and all their, so we don't like that, and all their folders are in order, we do like that. So to get an A-star, it is not enough to have copied some information from the textbook. Students should have notes which cover all topics, and they should be revisiting these often to test themselves. Students need to have the sense that they are going back to something they know very, very well. If I were to ask an A-star student, where is any specific topic, where was that filed at any point in the academic year, they should be able to take me straight to it. This will also help when they are revisiting work that was not previously considered to be graded to an A-star standard. I have found, guys, that students are usually inspired more to commit to further work when they can compare themselves to the preparation that great athletes had completed before an important competition. So a great athlete, for example, knows that they are mainly in competition against themselves, against their own previous performance, which they constantly try to improve. So Muhammad Ali, a great boxer, has famously said, "The fight is won or lost away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights." So what does this mean for our students? Like a great athlete, an A-star student will already be able to guess the final outcome of an exam, their final grade, before they even go to the exam room and look at the actual exam question. Why is that? Because they will know how many hours they have already invested revising independently, how well prepared they really are. MPW students have the support of dedicated personal tutors, experienced teachers, inspirational head of department, but at the end of the day, students need to be motivated to invest time and effort outside the lesson, training and perfecting their skills. To go back to the Ofsted report, the beauty of MPW College is exactly this, that students are motivated to be the best they can be. Thank you very much. So any questions, please?
Thanks, Elpida. That was great. That was very it's great actually for a lot of the agents to see such actually about the A-star and the subject of students need. And I liked that image at the end, the fight. comparing the fight in an A-star as it is, so that's really good. I have a couple of questions. I've got a question sent to me actually from an agent that couldn't make the session today, and they asked us, would it be recorded? And yes, the answer is yes. But their question was around support that the students get towards the end of their MPW. Let's say that they get really good grades, and of course the most important now is the university application, right? The UCAS application. What do they get from MPW that is either special or something different to what they would get elsewhere?
Steve, is that a question for me or for Tom? Or do you want me to start?
Let's bring Tom in, actually. Let's introduce him, because I know he's there. So Tom Caston, Principal of MPW Cambridge. Hello, Tom. Welcome.
Hi, nice to see you all.
Yeah, good to see you.
Elpida, that was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Did you hear that question about the support that students get for their university application and UCAS application? What is it at MPW that they go through at this time? What do they get?
I think that, I mean, Elpida touched on it, the idea of the personal tutor, and we have quite a unique pastoral system here where every single boy and girl has a one-to-one personal tutor who they see every week. And as principal, I have a group of personal tutees who drop into my office daily. And what that means is that I get to know them very well. Elpida, I think you might need to mute. We're echoing in this building. Is that better? Yes, that sounds better. Good, well done. So what it means is that we get to know them very well. And from the very moment that they join, even the very moment that we interview them pre-joining, we're starting to build a picture about what they love. And Elpida used the word very early on in her talk, inspire. You know, I want to know what inspires them. And my job and our job, away from Elpida's sphere of teaching and learning, is to fill in the bits around that. And what I want for them to do is to apply with a phenomenal academic track record, but also show the UCAS application form just what a brilliant person they are, and their interest beyond, you know, if they're studying maths, physics, chemistry, I want them to show that they read literature, they write poetry. I want to see their volunteering. I want to see that they've done work experience in different fields. And my job as a personal tutor, and the job of all the personal tutors, is to find avenues for them to show unequivocally that even if they're 4 A stars, they're better than every other 4 A star student out there because they've done this and they've done that. And you know, and I think that that's it's quite compelling, and it's a really lovely journey. And you know, I've got 2 or 3 tutees this year, and it's been a real privilege for me to be able to guide them through their application and really unearth their passions. And actually beyond that, I mean, that's on a more personal level. We've got 2 phenomenal programs for medics and for the Oxford students too. But all students can engage with this, you know, which are more bespoke timetable pathways to medical school and to Oxford and Cambridge as well, where they have specific outside speakers, interview practice, and specialist preparation for those quite niche applications as well. One thing I will say, and I know, sorry, I don't mean to ramble on, you very rarely hear of a school or college that's brilliant at UCAS, that's known for their UCAS, and I want us to be that. And I think we are, and I think I want to shout about that quite loudly, because, you know, I want people all around the world and in Cambridge and in England to say, wow, MPW, they're the specialists of getting boys and girls into medical school, into Oxford, into Cambridge, into Russell Group universities, equally into apprenticeships or into the next best thing for them. And that's a real focus for us, and we've talked about it a lot this year. And I'll be quiet now.
Just to add that the support that we give to our students for UCAS is very much on a one-to-one basis. So it is not as a class. It is just putting in the time with every student separately as a personal tutor and finding out what they really need. So we show them everything from how to take university rankings, how to use UCAS, how to log in, how to do their personal statement. So this is something that usually students find the toughest, the trickiest to create. And we don't send them away to do it and then that's it, but we do it with them every step of the way. So we give them a structure, we give them examples, we help them if they join us even from lower sixth, we present them with many opportunities to think and reflect about their experience, because their personal statement should show what they have done above and beyond their A levels. As Cambridge, we are very lucky because we are very well placed next to the University of Cambridge, and we have so many master classes as well. And we have some parents as well who come to present very important talks in their fields. So we show to students what is a UCAS tariff. We help them to research universities. We discuss with them what is Russell Group, that Russell Group universities are the top 24 universities throughout the UK. We also have created, as MPW, our own getting into guides. So they are very bespoke, like getting into Cambridge, getting into Oxford, getting into medicine. So we are considered as experts in the field, in engineering and so on. We have specific support as well to help students who are preparing for an interview. So if a university calls them for an interview, they do mock interviews with us. Some universities ask students to do specific entrance exams in addition to being able to achieve a certain grade at the end of the year. So we can offer help and support bespoke for that as well. So our students also know that we are always here to support them. So it's not just the preparation before UCAS or the preparation while they are submitting their report, but after that, we guide them when it comes to how do I choose my universities, because they apply to 5 and then they can only take forward one as firm and one as insurance. Obviously, the decision is always the families, but we are here to inform them. So what are the criteria that make best sense for them? So are we talking about university ranking, the actual course, and then anything else that works for them? And we make sure as personal tutors on results day, we are on our computers stuck with our phones, landlines next to us, and we are in direct contact with our students non-stop until we see on the actual UCAS page that says final place has been accepted. And of course, once you are an MPW student, you always belong in the community, and we are always happy to help and support you in any way they need. So I don't know if that answers the question.
I think that's a very comprehensive answer. Thank you. That's brilliant. Very, very detailed. Two questions came up in the meantime. I think one you've kind of answered, and Tom have answered as well, about the foundation students that study medicine. They just get the same level of support, don't they, Tom?
They do, yeah. So there's a timetable session every week for the medics group, and it's great speakers, etc. So we look after them all.
And the other question has just come in about international students. The needs of international students are different to domestic students. So how does MPW look after the international students in particular?
Elpida, I'll let you answer that one first.
So part of that Ofsted report that I haven't shared because it is quite long, it actually discusses about international students, and it states that international students are very well adjusted at MPW and they achieve extremely well because they have dedicated personal tutors who are there to help them every step of the way. So how do we know that our students do very well? Because apart from the personal tutors who check their well-being, we also have small class sizes, which allows us to differentiate and support our students. So it is very much nuanced, the support that they receive. And we know exactly what are the areas they need further help. So if it is English, for example, if you are an international student and you apply to any British university, you need to achieve a particular IELTS score, which shows your proficiency in the vocabulary. So we have specific sessions for that. And many of our students, even after they achieve, let's say, 6.5 in every single area, reading, writing, listening, speaking, they decide to stay on so that they can achieve even higher, 7 and beyond, so that they show that not only do I meet the requirements, but I am outstanding, I exceed them. So we are very impressed to have such dedicated community. And also at the moment, 50% of our students are British and 50% are international. And we have several students coming from many different parts of the world. So it's all about assimilating everyone, and it is not different people in different cliques according to their countries. It is, as we put together when a person goes on the internet, it's my MPW, but it's actually our MPW. We come together to form it.
Thank you. That's great. And I have a question actually about, for either of you. about the inspection reports. And I know, in the university sector, they're all a bit obsessed with ranking tables. In schools sector, a bit different. So actually, how important is it for parents to read the inspection reports, and how accessible are they actually?
I'll go for this one. They are, I mean, the inspection reports are important. Sorry, Elpida, we're rattling again. The inspection reports are important. They are an initial insight into an education establishment. And ours is very good, but I think for me, it's about people. Less so what we paid. I know that we do what we need to do and we meet the criteria. But essentially, it's about meeting us, and that's where you'll get a true sense of who we are and what we are. But as I say, for every school, the first thing I would do as a parent is look at the inspection report. And for me, that's just okay, yes, they go into the yes pile. And then it's about actually, yeah, I say to the teachers here, the parents here, bring your son and daughter to the college and meet us, and you'll know straight away whether you can see them being here and whether they can see themselves being here. And that's the most compelling way to choose. I know that's not always so easy for the international teams and international agents, but again, we're here online, giving you a sense of who we are as people and what our priorities are as educationists. And you can see from my job is to get amazing practitioners like Elpida doing a brilliant job. And I think once parents see that, the decision's made. Elpida, what can you add to that?
Hi. Okay, so if a parent, absolutely I agree with Tom that we are there to show people what we do, to give them a tour, to answer any questions. If you would like to have a look at the inspections, all the reports are public. So they are in the public domain. One can find them in the Ofsted formal website, but also on the MPW website. So if you go MPW Ofsted inspection or MPW Cambridge Ofsted inspection, you will be able to read the full inspection. So the last time that Cambridge was inspected was November 2000, last November, just before COVID. And I was one of the people who was taking the inspectors throughout the college, explaining what we did. They had the chance to talk to many different people, and they were very impressed. And it's very rare, not only did we achieve outstanding in every single area, but they didn't make any recommendation for any further improvement, which is really, really unheard of, very, very rare. So we are very happy and very proud and very privileged because the people who make the college is actually students. The students who are highly motivated and our staff who have very high expectations, and we are all working together to support each other.
That's great. Yeah, thank you. And you can tell from your passion how enthusiastic you are about that it's something that you're very proud of, I think, the inspection report, and that's great. That's great to hear that. I think one last question, and this is also a plug for next week, because Tom and team will be back next week with some students actually to talk to us a bit more about life at MPW Cambridge. So this is a non-academic question for either of you, just about the extracurricular at MPW Cambridge. So what would students do if they're not in their class studying hard and getting ready for exams? What is on offer for them?
Well, we want them to have balance. And I did an assembly a couple of weeks ago about geese and about how much further geese can fly in formation, 71% further as a community and as a formation. And I think for me, we want the boys and girls to feel part of something bigger. There's security in that, and there's what's the word? Care, love, and I want them to feel that too. And I think the extracurricular provision is about making them feel part of a community and something bigger. And we want to stimulate mind, body, and soul. So that's our aim, you know, to get them thinking critically, to get them pushing their boundaries. We have talks, we have activities, we have sporting activities again, and just trying to give them a bit of balance in their lives too. And I think we all need that. If I just work, then I lose perspective of everything else. You know, we need to have exercise, we need to have outside stimulation, we need to have sleep, and it's all part of the balance that we're trying to give them, and it's so important. So yes, it's been hard this year, obviously, because we're all behind masks and we're distanced and we're at home, some of us working. So the student council, what I'm really excited about is the student council this year have been so engaged, and they've been pushing hard to try and create the kind of sense of community that I've been wanting. So they're very funny. So I do recommend that talk highly. But Elpida, give us a bit more about the actual nuts and bolts of the extracurricular provision.
So, for example, thank you, Tom. So, yes, it's all the case. Plus, the student council is divided in many different areas. At Cambridge, for example. So I meet once a week or once a fortnight with the academic leads. So we sit down and we discuss issues of the student and student voice for academic matters. What are the concerns? What can we do as a full community of staff to support them? And then I take all these points on board to the heads of department, and we work with the students to help them. So when we're talking about extracurricular activities, apart from the student voice, we also have every Wednesday, students are off timetable for 1 hour so as to be able to take part in activities. These activities are UCAS gems, so they can use them as opportunity, as ways to show that they are not just students who sit down and do their subjects, but they are well-rounded. So this academic year, we are offering debates, we are offering maths beyond A level, critical thinking, running, so sport is good as well, problem solving, mindfulness. So you can see all of this related to critical thinking, analytical, evaluative. So this is for all students, the whole college, open to everyone. Now, if you are a lower 6 student, it is compulsory that you do certain enrichment exactly to expose you to other areas. So sport, so you can choose from sport, science club, film club, and ethics club. And with both the Wednesday club and with the lower 6 students, so students choose 2 different clubs that they alternate according to different terms. So they run 2 terms of the academic year, and then the 3rd term, they focus especially on their exams. So it's those 2, and yes, those 2, the student voice, plus in addition to that, in order to really help our students, we have dedicated sessions to help them with their study skills. And if a student wants to create their own project, like a mini dissertation, university dissertation, then they are supported to do so. And this also has extra UCAS points.
That's great, thank you. So a lot on offer is my takeaway from that. That's really interesting and very useful information. Thank you. So yeah, let's finish there, and thank you both for joining us today. Elpida in particular for presenting. And Tom, for all our guests, you'll see him next week if you join us at the same time, 10 o'clock on Wednesday, and he'll have members of his student council with him. Look forward to that one, Tom.
It's going to be a really good one. I can't wait. That they're so much fun, and you'll see the quality that we have here, which is, you know, you'll learn more from them than I can ever tell you, and I think that's the most important. This is a really big one coming up for you, I think.
Yeah, great. Yeah, students are the best talkers, aren't they? The champions and the ambassadors about what actually goes on inside the school or college. Yeah, so good. So thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been recorded, so we'll send you the link later, and hopefully see as many of you as possible this time, 10 a.m. UK time next Wednesday. All the best, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.